Perched high above the forest canopy, a fire tower lookout's job is both solitary and crucial. From dawn until dusk, they scan the horizon for the first hint of smoke, a thin, grey wisp that could signal the start of a wildfire. The position demands long hours of patience, sharp observation skills, and a deep familiarity with the surrounding landscape. In addition to spotting potential fires, lookouts record weather patterns, relay information to firefighting crews, and keep meticulous logs of daily conditions. Often stationed in remote wilderness locations, they work in isolation for months at a time, their only company the wind in the trees, the chatter of birds, and the distant ripple of storms moving across the horizon. In the summer of 2006, Stephanie Stewart, a 70-year-old mother and lifelong lover of books, was equally renowned for her adventurous spirit and deep connection to nature. Just a year before, she had summited Mount Kilimanjaro, a feat that reflected her determination and vitality. Standing 5'2" and weighing 105 pounds, with blue eyes, glasses, and chin-length grey auburn hair, she may have appeared petite, but friends and colleagues attest that she was in excellent physical shape, with no known medical conditions. Each year, Stephanie divided her time between winters in Canmore, Alberta, and summers near Hinton, an industrial town located on the edge of Jasper National Park, approximately 280 kilometres or 174 miles west of Edmonton. From April to September, she served as a seasonal fire tower lookout, a role she had embraced for 18 years with Alberta Sustainable Resource Development, known as ESRD. For the last 13 of those summers, she lived and worked alone at the Athabasca Lookout Tower, a remote post surrounded by foothills, shimmering lakes, and dense forest. It was work that suited her resilience, independence, and love for the wild. While stationed at the lookout, she filled her days by cultivating a spacious garden, working on embroidery projects, painting, and immersing herself in countless books. Furthermore, due to the secluded and isolated nature of the job, the protocol for positions like this is to check in a minimum of 3 times a day, 7 days a week. On the evening of Friday, August 25th, 2006, at approximately 9 p.m, Stephanie spoke with a relative. Unbeknownst to them, it would be the last time anyone would hear from the 70-year-old. The following morning, on August 26th, Stephanie was believed to have started her usual routine at camp, preparing to ascend the ladder to the watchtower for her first check-in of the day to report on weather conditions. But when attempts to reach her went unanswered, concern quickly mounted, and by 9 a.m, her ESRD supervisor reported her as missing. Stephanie's sudden radio silence was strongly out of character. When a staff member was dispatched to check in on Stephanie, they discovered her cabin unoccupied. Inside, a pot of water sat boiling on the stove, and traces of blood were visible on the steps leading to the entrance. Authorities reported that a few items were missing from her quarters, including a burgundy bedsheet, a Navajo pattern duvet, pillows with blue covers, and a gold analog wristwatch belonging to her, which was described as an unusual item. Investigators quickly ruled out the possibility that she had been attacked by wildlife and began treating her disappearance as suspicious. Mark Cymbaluk, a volunteer with Hinton Search and Rescue, oversaw the initial search for Stephanie, an operation that became one of the largest ever conducted in the province. He said, quote, "Stephanie has a special place in my heart," noting that he could see the lookout tower where she had worked from the back deck of his own home. The RCMP, conservation officers, search and rescue teams, and local volunteers aided in the search for Stephanie by foot, land, and air. However, there was no sign of her. Early forensic findings, along with other evidence collected by RCMP investigators, ruled out several possibilities. She had not been attacked by a bear or wolf, suffered an accident, or experienced a medical emergency that caused her to stray from the site. Investigators concluded that Stephanie had either been abducted or murdered. The presence of boiling water suggested she may have received an unexpected visitor that morning shortly before her scheduled calls, or that someone had stayed overnight with her, willingly or otherwise, and fled when the phone rang. In either case, it appeared the site supervisor who arrived later that morning had likely been close behind whoever was responsible. While reports indicated there had been a substantial amount of blood at the scene, authorities did not release specific details. A man named Travis Vader was identified as a suspect in Stephanie's case. Vader was later sentenced to life in prison for the murders of Lyle and Marie McCann, aged 78 and 77 respectively, who vanished in July 2010 after leaving their home near Edmonton in their motorhome for a camping trip to British Columbia. A long-time drug addict with a criminal record that included arson, theft, and weapons offences, Vader killed the McCanns during a robbery west of Edmonton. He disposed of their bodies in a wooded area and set their RV on fire. Their remains were never recovered. Reports indicated that Vader had been in the vicinity of the lookout at the time Stephanie disappeared, though there is no evidence to support this theory. Another theory proposed that Stephanie may have chosen to vanish intentionally to begin a new life. However, her Dodge Ram truck remained parked at the site, and it seemed unlikely she would have attempted to leave on foot through dense forest. The area was extremely remote, making it improbable unless someone had picked her up from the nearby highway. The lookout stood about 3 miles or 5 kilometres from a major highway, and visitors could drive up to enjoy sweeping views of the valley stretching to the edge of the Rocky Mountains. Since Stephanie's disappearance, however, road access to the site had been closed to the public. Stephanie's friend Robin Slater said, quote, "Her perfect place was the lookout, where she tended a huge garden, embroidered, painted, and read stacks of books. She had welcomed the many visitors who came to see her there." Stephanie's daughter, Laurie, said, quote, "Mum's a hell of a woman. She's very strong. She's very capable. The tower life is her life." Following Stephanie Stewart's disappearance, the province implemented stricter safety protocols across its 128 fire watchtowers, according to more recent news reports. These changes included providing fire watchers with self-defense training and equipping them with upgraded two-way radios featuring panic buttons. Directional signs guiding visitors to well-known lookouts were removed, and gates were installed and locked at sites accessible by road. At the time, a government representative stated that no other individual had ever gone missing from a fire lookout. In 2016, RCMP spokesperson Corporal Hal Turnbull reported that while new tips about the case continued to surface, no arrests had been made. He stated, quote, "It's a very puzzling thing. We're moving forward the best we can on what we have. Some cases are more difficult than others, and this is just a very difficult case." New searches have been conducted since the original investigation. In 2018, the National Post reported that the RCMP's Historical Homicide Unit had taken charge of search operations in the vicinity of the Athabasca Fire Tower, Jarvis Lake, and across Highway 40 heading north. RCMP Corporal Chris Warren stated, quote, "The searchers are going to be looking for any human remains or any evidence of Stephanie's disappearance. We're just continuing an investigation and continuing to search for any evidence in attempts to bring a resolution to the case." Neither Stephanie's body nor the belongings missing from her cabin were ever recovered. Whether her fate was the result of a random, unexplained murder in the wilderness or something else that occurred in that remote tower remains unknown. The mystery stands in eerie contrast to the vast, silent wilderness around the lookout, a place of natural beauty that now carries an unsettling shadow. Stephanie Stewart's case remains open. Investigators are offering a $20,000 reward for information which could lead to an arrest and conviction in the case, which is being treated as a homicide. If you have any information regarding the vanishing of Stephanie Stewart in August 2006, you can contact Hinton RCMP at 780-865-5544 or Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS 8477.